Hey guys, we're doing a slightly different video, and we're talking about the Ger and Geras, the converts and stuff, what it actually is brought down compared to like what's being done nowadays. And we're looking at like the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, also known as Maimonides, probably born around 1138, was a Torah scholar and philosopher. Very popular. His works were like the Mishneh Torah. Uh, so over here in Issurei Biah, he brings down what's the requirements of how someone converts to Judaism and what's the process of being part of the covenant. And as you'll see here, he makes no distinction between the someone who's born Jewish and someone who decides to convert. They enter the covenant the same way. Even though nowadays it's like, oh, conversion takes many years and you got to do all the studying. There's many sources that say otherwise. Rabbi Asher Meza has done many videos on this topic. He was showing this part of his Issurei Biah. I think he was explaining that this might be a slight variant to the ones that like Chabad uses. And this one apparently wasn't translated into English, but we're going to Sefaria.com. Gonna quickly skim through some of this. We're not going through everything. I'm going to show you a little bit. I'll put a link down so you can go to this site and read it for yourselves. Also, because we don't want like the copyright thing, but so basically here is you'll enter the covenant with Hashem by 3 acts: circumcision, immersion, and offering a sacrifice. Since there's no Beit HaMikdash, there's no temple, you wouldn't do the sacrifice, and it goes on to explain that later on. Circumcision took place in Egypt. All right. And as you'll see, so it talks about Israel. This is how they entered the covenant. It's not just because you were born Jewish, you had a Jewish mother. That's rabbinic saying that because you had a mother that was Jewish, you were Jewish. So they can track to see like who's able to be adjudicated if they're in the land and let's say they break Shabbos. Having a Jewish mother means nothing really. Because you can have a Jewish mother, but that doesn't mean you're in the covenant. Goes on talking about the Levites. Immersion was performed in the desert before the giving of the Torah. The Rambam brings down this pasuk of Exodus 19, verse 10, talking about how they would have to like wash their clothes and stuff. Which is a little bit, like washing your clothes, saying that that's the same thing as immersion and going into the mikvah or whatever. I don't know, but that's the pasuk that the Rambam's trying to connect to this commandment. Bringing a korban. Scrolling down through here. This is the part when a Gentile desires to enter into the covenant, take shelter under divine wings and divine presence, accept the yoke of Torah. These are the things he has to do: the bris milah, the circumcision, tevilah, immersion, and giving a korban. And for the woman, it talks about they just have to bring a sacrifice and get immersed. And it says, as it is for you, it shall be for the convert. Meaning it's the same thing. Whether you're born Jewish, you're still required to get circumcised if you're male and immerse in the mikvah and bring a korban. But we don't do the korban right now. So that's what makes you part of it, and obviously keeping Torah. if you don't keep Torah and stuff, it even says in the Torah, if you don't keep my Shabbat, in Parshat Kedoshim says you'll be a holy people and stuff. You don't do this, you're keret. You're cut off. Strings, see it's right here that the present age, there are no sacrifices until the temple is built again. And it says here, if a convert, like, he gets the Brit Milah, but is not immersed, or vice versa, he's not considered a convert. Talks about Ger Katan, like circumcised, converting a baby, blah, blah, blah. It just goes on, but you can see, so there's no difference, as is said over here. It says similarly for all the future generations, and that as it is for you, so shall it be for the convert, that this is what makes you part of the covenant. A Brit Milah, a Brit, meaning you get circumcised, go into the mikvah, or whatever it is, the body of water, and you bring the korban. But nowadays you don't have a korban. It goes on talking about, Rambam says you can have 3 people doing it because you don't technically need a rabbi to convert. So that's what makes you part of the covenant from a halachic perspective and from a Torah perspective. Nowadays, obviously, the conversion process was made by rabbis to say, okay, because technically you don't need, like, according to God, you already are part of that covenant if you accepted Hashem and His Torah. But now the people have to make a public declaration in front of the people to be accepted as part of the nation. So this later stuff was developed to say, okay, you are part of the house of Israel. Yeah, so really all it is need circumcision, immersion, and the korban, which is not done today. And obviously you do this, and I think most conservative synagogues will do it. It depends if people on the Beit Din, like, it depends, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, if they're all straight and stuff, but technically you don't really need a Beit Din. And they don't have to all be rabbis. You don't need a rabbi to convert. But nowadays, the Rebbeinu controls a lot of what's going on in Israel. So the conversion process is really political now. But you can go in with a conservative conversion. Like, if you have the papers from the, like the Rabbinical Assembly, the Jewish agency of the conservative movement, forgetting the name at the moment. But yeah, so it in the halacha, the Rambam brings down that there's no distinction between how a born Jew is considered part of the covenant and someone who decides to convert. Because even at some point, if you were born into it, you have to make a decision that you're going to keep Torah mitzvahs, which the conversion process should have taken like a day or two, but because it's a political thing, like, Now they say, oh, it's going to take years. You need to take 3 years. You got to study under this rabbi. It's all nonsense. Even in the Talmud, in I think Shabbat, it's not Sanhedrin. It's in the Tractate Shabbos. Hillel, a convert came to Hillel saying, "Convert me on the condition that you teach me the whole Torah on standing on one foot." And he said, "Okay, do unto others what, like, don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself." Basically, and that's the entire Torah. The rest is commentary. Go study it. And the concept is that he converted him and then taught him Torah. This notion that you have to know every mitzvah and you have to be like this tzaddikim to level of knowledge to convert is nonsense. The halacha is very simple of the rulings on conversion, but they have to make it difficult. That's why you need to equip yourself with the knowledge to know these kind of things, because what's done nowadays is not what's written in the books. Yeah, don't want to get too deep into it now. There's other videos, like I said. Rabbi Asher Meza has many videos on this kind of stuff. Look for it for yourself. Check the link to read it on Sefaria. You can read it for yourself. And yeah, we're just here to educate, spread the knowledge, and just have a good time. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.